Are you desperately hunting for the cheapest Masai Mara Safari cost or package? Watch this video to find how cheap Masai Mara Safari packages can get down to. By the end of this video, you will not only learn how to drive your Masai Mara cost to the cheapest, but you will also have an exclusive access to a Masai Mara deal from us, more specifically in the form of a special discount. Make sure to watch every second of this video to find out. First and foremost, let me break this down to you. There's no such thing as Masai Mara cheap packages for budget travelers. It all depends on your definition of cheap, of course, but the entry fees to the park alone is 80 USD for non-residents per person per night. So if you're planning for a 3 days Masai Mara budget safari, it's 2 nights and thus 160 USD at least per person. This is solely for the park without including your meals, accommodations, and transport. So if you're thinking of DIY to save costs, that's a bad idea. The park is really big and you might not even know where to go as you are inexperienced. You won't have the support of other drivers as well who communicate among themselves to know where the locations of the animals are. So let's just put DIY aside. It's best to opt for a tour company. Now with the tour company, you'll be given a lot of options. I will give you 5 ways to bring your Masai Mara prices down to the cheapest. Number 1. The number of people traveling. The more people you have in your group, the lesser is the cost. If you're only a few people, we recommend joining a group instead of having a private tour. It's a great experience. We opted for that and we had the best experience ever. We met with strangers who became good friends. We laughed and shared good moments together. We have never experienced this on any other kinds of tours. Number 2 is the season. The peak season is that of the Great Wildebeest migration between July to November. There are more people during that time. As such, prices will rocket. Low season is from March to May. You may get a quote for both scenarios to have an idea of the price differences. We will show you how to get a discounted quote for that after we have finished the 5 points. Number 3, transportation. While it's also possible to fly into Masai Mara, that would obviously be out of question if you want the cheapest way. Road transportation is cheaper and most common. You can either opt for safari tour vans or badass Toyota Land Cruisers. The latter are more expensive but more comfortable as well. You won't feel the rough road as much as in a van. Of course, we went for the safari van, being budget travelers ourselves. Just ensure you bring motion sickness pills if you have motion sickness. Also, the duration from NAIROBI to Masai Mara is approximately 5 to 6 hours. By the way, if you're new to this channel, that's the place where we will be bringing you travel guides and tips to help you travel more and better. If that interests you, do consider subscribing. Number 4. The type of accommodation. There are normally 2 types of accommodations: lodges and tented camps. The latter would be the cheapest. It's also important to note that each have different ranges as well, from very basic to mid-range and ultimately luxurious. To make your Masai Mara Safari cheap, opt for the tented camps. We opted for a budget one called Mara Manyata Camp and it was pretty decent. Number 5. The number of days on safari. Definitely the more days you spend on a safari, the more you will pay. So keeping your days to a minimum will definitely drive your Masai Mara prices down. We found the cheapest deal as $250 per person for a 2-day, 1-night safari. But in my own experience, 2 days is too little and not worth it. We highly recommend 3 days at least to see most things. More than 3 days might get a little boring. As for us, we opted for 3 days Masai Mara budget safari organized by Mara Gates. They were brilliant. They were genuine, caring, and helpful. We paid $700 for the full board package for 2 persons, which was pretty affordable as it was inclusive of everything: transport from NAIROBI, driver, game drives, food, accommodation, park fees, and etc. And do note that we went during the wildebeest migration. We highly recommend their services. They have the best Masai Mara safari packages. Plus, the best news is that they have agreed to give a special Masai Mara offer to our subscribers. Click on the link in the description box to find out how to redeem the discount and get a code. Hope this video helped you get an idea of how to budget for your Masai Mara Safari adventure. If you want to see how our 3-day adventures unfolded, make sure to watch our other videos here. Else do comment below if you have any other queries. Like and share this video to the people who are going to Kenya soon. Also remember to subscribe to this channel for more helpful travel guides. That's all for today. Goodbye.